Hey guys, what's going on? Jackson here, and in today's video we're going to be discussing whether you should use the free iMovie or get the paid Final Cut Pro. So first off, they are both available on Mac, but iMovie is also available on iPad and iPhone as well. iMovie is going to be free, whereas Final Cut Pro will be running you $300 unless you buy it in the Apple Pro Apps for Education bundle, which is $200 and includes Final Cut Pro, Motion 5, compressor for video, Logic Pro, and compressor for the audio side of things. The pros of iMovie. First off, it is very easy to use and anyone can pick it up right away. Next, it is free, which is very good for all beginners and people who just want a easy editing software to use. It's available on multiple devices, like I already said, on Mac, iPad, and iPhone. You can edit on all three devices. It has basic transitions and songs. You're not getting a lot of transitions and songs, but you are getting those free cross dissolve, crossfade, fade to black transitions, and you are also getting a couple free songs included. It is very friendly to new users, new people to video editing, and it is very easy to learn by yourself. Now the cons of iMovie. You will be getting a little bit of color grading, but it is more of a color correction, and it's really only doing the tones. There are a couple of filters, but they're not very great. Number 2, the lack of effects. You're only going to be getting some transitions, and you're not getting very many color effects, transition effects, audio effects, and much more. Number 3 is that you can't use more than 2 layers. And by this, I mean video layers. You can use the main and then the second layer above. You don't then only above that you can put a text layer, and below, I'm not sure exactly how many, but you do have more audio layers than video layers. The 4th thing is that you can't choose your settings. That includes the aspect ratio. You are basically locked into the first clip that you put in there. So if it is a 480p clip, your entire timeline is going to be that, meaning that you can't really customize if you want 4K or 1080. If you have some 4K clips, I would suggest putting them at the start, just that way your whole timeline is 4K. And so if you shot most of it in 4K, but a bit or two in 1080p, you will not lose that quality on the 4K if you want to have it uploaded in 4K. Okay, now on to the Final Cut Pro side of things. Let's start off with the pros. Number 1, the plugins. There are so many plugins that you can buy from many brands. Number 2, color grading. You can do so much color grading in here, including with the wheels, the curves, and the color boards, and the hues. You can also input your own LUTs that you have bought or made, which is a very easy way to start editing and color grading. Number 3, the amount of effects. There are so many effects. Unlike iMovie with the audio, more transitions, more titles, just a lot more everything. Number 4, the audio levels. You are able to see the audio levels, whereas in iMovie you're not going to be able to know exactly, but there will be on the right side of your timeline, it will show you how many decibels you are at. Number 5, the transitions. There are so many transitions, and you can even buy your own transitions. It is fairly easy to install them. Next, we have the multiple layers. You can use so many layers. This is with audio and video and all the text features. There are so many, so you can really make it a complex timeline. Next, the user interface is fairly easy. I wouldn't say easy, but it is good for new people to video editing, especially if you've been on iMovie. It's very easy to switch over and use Final Cut. It does take a little bit of time to get used to, so when I transitioned, I didn't watch very many YouTube videos, and I kind of figured that out myself. Next, you can save a library to a hard drive or an external SSD, so that way it won't be taking up space on your computer, and you can just work off of it. I would suggest getting a faster SSD or hard drive, otherwise it'll be a little laggy, but it is still great to be able to work off of that. Next, you can choose all of your settings, that including the resolution, frame rate. You can choose and the aspect ratio. And finally, you can use it for basic edits like iMovie. It's very quick and you can really pick it up fast. Now onto the cons. The big price tag, $200 or $300, depending whether you buy the Pro apps or not. It's definitely not cheap, whereas iMovie's free. There are other free video editors. In fact, you can use DaVinci Resolve, which is another great editor, for free, and then if you want to upgrade to the paid version later, you can. I've tried it. It's harder to learn. I would say I never really spent the time trying to learn it, but it definitely is more scary than Final Cut, just especially if you're on iMovie going over to Final Cut. It's a very easy transition. Next, it's only available on Mac, so obviously no iPad, no iPhone, and especially no Windows, so you are going to have any Mac device. It's not very easy to new editors, like I said. You can learn it, but I would definitely say start with iMovie. And then finally for the cons, it is quite intense on your computer if you're doing complex edits, especially in 4K. It will slow your computer down. I haven't had it crash on me, but it definitely will slow your workload down. So for the verdict, I would say that iMovie is great for beginners because it is free and you don't necessarily need a computer to make it. Obviously, you can make it on an iPad or an iPhone as well as on your computer. And then Final Cut Pro, I would say, is great for users wanting to really take it to the next level, having almost mastered iMovie on Final Cut Pro. I've loved it, used it for multiple projects, and yeah, so hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll see you guys later. Peace.